Hello all, Lynn McCarthy, Associate Principal at KTA, presenting our project for Preston South Primary School. On behalf of KTA, I acknowledge the traditional owners of the lands on which we meet and the land on which this project sits, the Wurundjeri of the East Kulin Nation. Pay our respects to elders past and present and acknowledge sovereignty has not been ceded. We recognise the ongoing connection, knowledge and rights of First Nations people hold the responsibility to advocate for justice, equity and healing at our core. So starting off with an acknowledgement too that there was a landscape on this site and it was removed, and we then arrive to bring Western architecture to a school site which sits on Hotham Street, south of Bell, just down from Bell City, which is the former Hanch Hospital. The site has been a public school since 1878, understood to be the longest continuous use state-run education facility in Victoria. School sadly experienced two significant fire events which destroyed much of the fabric. The first in 1968 and then again in 2009. A four-room brick building constructed in 1878 remains and is the oldest education structure in Preston. The entry to the school is off Hotham Street to the west, characterised by four significant 120-year-old English elm planted by students back in the day as part of the once popular Arbor Day. The school is located immediately adjacent to the T.A. Cochrane Reserve and a council-run tennis club, and as with most inner-city Melbourne schools, the site is small for the number of students that it accommodates and is nestled in amongst fine-grained residential neighbours. From here, I'm going to present the design under three broad themes: civic contribution, sustainable goals and teaching and learning model. So it's a civic contribution. KTA consider all education projects as important pieces of social and civic infrastructure. They're not simply about didactic instruction from teacher to student. They carry with them the aspirations of a community and become platforms for discourse on education, of course, but also sustainability and climate change, community resilience, and the well-being of future leaders. They're an opportunity for a community to show pride in the milestones their children achieve through years-long education and social journeys. We conceptualise our school buildings as being part of a network of civically responsible projects, drawing on the history of particularly red brick school buildings of years gone by. We seek a form of fuzziness in our projects, a departure from binaries. For Preston here, we see this is expressed as strong yet soft and inclusive, and solid yet open. The site, as KTA found it, was characterised by loose, leaky and awkward arrangement of small structures set around the only remaining school building, which I mentioned, that survived both the fires, and a suite of relocatable buildings. Through the master plan, it became apparent the requisite floor area from our client, the VSBA, was not going to fit, and it would need to be housed in a multi-storey facility, so to preserve valuable outdoor space for active and passive recreation. As site planning established the strategy to selectively edit out 6 of the most awkward buildings from the site and replace them with a new consolidated footprint of a 3-level building, resulting in the completion of the street edge. The design of the new 3-storey brick building pays homage to the immediate context of the campus. The neighbouring terrace houses, the red brick party walls of these inform the east and west facades. The distinctive red brick piers pick up on the vertical rhythm in combination with vertical waved perforated metal screens, their depth creating a management of the east and west sunlight. Adjacent to the street and alongside the elms, the piers form entry loggia, creating a welcoming and inviting arrival experience and providing a scaffold for community activities, here as the backdrop for the student-produced Bollywood film Aniko's Sapna. At other times, they are used for mini-fates and art stalls. Sustainable goals for planet and people. So early discussions between KTA, the VSBA and Preston South Primary resulted in the ambitious decision to design the new building as Passivhaus standard to best reflect the ethics of the school community. This endeavour wasn't merely about creating a new building, it was a testament to the school's commitment to fostering positive change. The school's education philosophy, embedded in actively teaching the UN's Sustainable Development Goals, laid the foundation for this journey. Rooted in the pillars of Passivhaus, the framework for Preston South Primary developed with our collaborators, Grun Consulting, encompassed life cycle energy analysis, building fabric analysis, material selections, long-term maintenance considerations, and strategies for building resilience. The result was not just a building, but a holistic approach that mirrored the school's dedication to its students. The Passivhaus design standards led us to design and deliver a building which is thermally broken from outside to in, provides improved and constant fresh air, plus heating and cooling via heat recovery ventilators, and is heavily insulated and well sealed here through the testing during construction. The natural assets of the site, the established landscape and distant views were leveraged through visual links enabled by thoughtful planning and window arrangements. Then to mitigate the east and west orientation, the brick fins and insulation built up to generate a deep wall, providing shading and also an opportunity to inhabit with built-in window seats. Solar panels and rainwater tanks included, of course. Teaching and learning model. The vertical building maximised space for various education needs, incorporating specialised science space, admin, reception and staff areas on the ground floor, while on level 1 and 2, a mix of collaborative, informal and outdoor areas offer a variety of options for different teaching and learning practices. The indoor environment prioritises long-term health and well-being, emphasising connections between indoor and outdoor spaces, ample natural light, outside air provision, and the use of natural materials with low embodied energy. The learning spaces are grouped into learning neighbourhoods to facilitate the option for team teaching. Spaces were purposeful and varied, allowing inclusivity for students with varying educational, sensory and emotional needs. Spaces were developed to work hard to perform more than one function, e.g. stairs with large landings for small group work to practice a presentation, for example. Outdoor learning spaces further the options for differentiated teaching and learning, allowing messy activities and for the teaching and learning to benefit from being upstairs and outside. Full height fall protection via stainless steel mesh allows unencumbered views. Built-in timber bench seats and timber soffits and planters soften the spaces. While the reading of these outdoor spaces and the strategic editing out of screening elements signals active teaching and learning to the community through an engaging facade. I'd like to thank the KTA team involved in the project and our consultant team and the AIA and the jury. Thank you.